Hello, my name is Abigail and welcome to Polyglot Progress. Grammar is hard in any language, and even adults that have been speaking this native language for 40 years can still make grammatical errors all the time. This can easily make the prospect of learning the grammar of a second language really overwhelming and seem like a lot to take in. But with a little bit of practice, learning the grammar of another language can start to feel more like a puzzle or a game, and even though you might not want to admit it, you might actually enjoy it. This is going to be the first in a series of videos to help make French grammar easier for you. If you have any questions or topics you want to see in future episodes, please comment down below or tweet me at @pairofpolyglots. Today we're going to start off by talking about the present tense. The French present tense, also called le présent or le présent de l'indicatif, is used quite similarly to the present tense in English. It's used to express things that are happening at that moment. I am talking. Things that are done habitually, I eat every day. Things that are always the same, like facts, I am a person. And it's also used in the first part of conditional C clauses, but we're going to save that for a future video. The French language has three kinds of regular verbs, as well as irregular verbs that do not follow any of these three conjugation patterns. The first kind is ER verbs. These are verbs like jouer, manger, écouter, and of course many others. So to conjugate these verbs, you'll drop the ER ending to get the stem, and then add on these endings. Next, we have IR verbs, such as finir or choisir. They are again conjugated by dropping the IR at the end of the verb, but then you're going to add these endings. Finally, we have the RE verbs. You're going to conjugate those by dropping the RE and adding these endings. Next, we get to irregular verbs. Some of these irregular verbs can fit into irregular groups that do follow a sort of pattern even though they're not technically regular verbs. There are, however, also verbs like avoir, where you're just going to have to memorize the conjugations. So I am just going to stick to talking about irregular verbs that follow some sort of pattern. There are actually lots of IR verbs like this. For example, dormir, partir, sortir, and the rest of the verbs in this group, along with their derivatives such as ressortir, drop the IR as well as the last letter of the stem. For example, dormir becomes dor, not dorm. After you've done that, you'll conjugate with these endings. There are, however, also IR irregular verbs that do not follow that pattern. As I said, you'll just need to memorize what verbs they are and what their conjugations are. Verbs that end in wir, like conduire or prodwire, are conjugated by dropping the RE and adding these endings. Verbs that end in oye or aye, such as essayer or nettoyer, drop the ER, but then also change the Y to an I for all pronouns except for nous and vous. Here is an example. Verbs that end in andra or andra, can't really pronounce as well also talking in English, so I'm sorry about that, are conjugated like this. Note that the G appears when talking about more than one person. When you're speaking in French and want to use two verbs, you're going to conjugate the first verb and leave the second one in the infinitive, or unchanged form of the verb. For example, to say I like to swim, you would say j'aime nager. Aimer gets conjugated to M, but nager just stays nager. That is all for this week. What are some parts of French grammar that you'd like to hear about in the future? Notice an error in the video? Please let us know so we can fix it. I hope you enjoyed this video and possibly feel a little more in control of French grammar. Regardless of how in control you feel right now, just remember, practice makes progress.